Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, last week I lost my favorite uncle. He suffered a heart attack. His name was Auggie, short for Augustino. You probably don't know him, though you might recognize his voice, the voice of the Geico gecko on those insurance commercials. I once spoke to him about where he got that Cockney accent. You see, he spent his youth in Brooklyn, but he hated that accent. Fortunately, the family moved to England, and he lived there for over a decade, where he learned that Cockney accent. After the war, he moved to Hollywood, started acting, started doing commercials and small parts. Never enough to earn a reliable income, but the Geico contract really set him up for life. My uncle had some really odd habits and one dark secret. He had been flying almost since the dawn of commercial aviation. He was a pilot in World War II, yet he had this enormous collection of barf bags, airline barf bags. It was because of all the traveling he did. He even had an incredibly rare Pan Am barf bag, a collector's item. Now, his dark secret, now don't tell anyone. You see, he was terrified of small lizards. Even the Geico gecko, he kept this a secret from fans. He actually suffered from a phobia over small lizards. Now, many people confuse a phobia with paranoia. These are actually two very different things. If he saw a lizard, he'd go into a panic attack. So he stopped watching regular TV. Instead, he got a VHS, then later a DVD player, and eventually a Blu-ray player, just to avoid watching regular TV. But eventually his doctor warned him. His heart couldn't take it anymore. He had to completely avoid seeing small lizards. So he moved to a high-rise. And the Geico people, they bought him a special TV. It was an enormous organic LED TV equipped with AI that could recognize small lizards and blur the image. It came with a switch so you can turn this feature on and off, because sometimes the feature was too sensitive. But finally, Auggie could watch regular TV. One day, the family came over, and there were lots of children, and they were watching, of course, children's program. But at the end, everyone left. They forgot to turn the feature back on again. And in the morning, when Auggie woke up, he saw his reptilian alter ego. Now his housekeeper was there, and she saw him run in circles like a madman. And finally, he ran toward the balcony. He fell over the railing and fell from the 6th floor, landing in the pool. The coroner later reported he died of a heart attack. Now, the family had a big discussion on how they were going to bury him. You see, he was a veteran, but not of this country, so he couldn't have the American flag draped over his coffin. In the end, they decided they would bury him in a glass coffin. So what they did was they put his barf bags in that glass coffin, and it had a little door that you can drop little tiny plastic geckos in his coffin instead of flowers. And everyone did that. And then they lowered the coffin in the ground. But overnight, grave robbers struck. They broke into his coffin, all just to steal those barf bags. The next day, the news headlines read, Grave robbers break into coffin. Remains to be seen. Mr. Toastmaster,